We are sitting in Bat Ain. This is a beautiful part of Israel, surrounded by nature, very peaceful, blue skies. I'm Rivki from Lev Haolam, and I'm joined by two Golani Brigade soldiers, reserve soldiers, Yosef, who works with me at Lev Haolam, and his brother-in-arms, Noam. And we're here to take a pause. We're here to take a moment to remember their friend, their brother-in-arms, Omer Gealdor. Omer was killed in Lebanon on November the 19th, 2024. Their unit was in a suicide drone attack. Hezbollah sent in a drone that killed Omer and severely wounded 4 of the soldiers. It's a very traumatic event. And Yosef and Noam and the other guys in the brigade wanted to do something very special to remember Omer. And they chose to make Golani coffee. Because why? Coffee, it's a quintessential Israeli drink. And also, it was a drink that Omer loved. He loved making coffee on the fire. So Golani coffee is a beautiful way to keep his memory alive. This young man, who's only 30 years old, a true son of Jerusalem, left behind his parents, brothers, his wife, and his 2 young children, not to mention his work colleagues. He was a talented architect, and his friends, and all of his brothers-in-arms who love him. And this loss has left really a deep void in everybody's heart. So I wanted to invite you to join us in a very meaningful moment, learning to make coffee, Golani coffee, just like our IDF soldiers do on the fire, and to join us in remembering Omer. So, gentlemen, Noam, Yosef, you're going to teach us how to make Golani coffee, right?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it, guys. Okay, so Noam, take us through it. What do we need to make coffee on the fire?
So, coffee on the fire is pretty simple. You don't need a lot. You need 1 finjan. They can come in different shapes, sizes, handles, but basically it's always the same handle that keeps you away from the fire, and a small pot connected to it. So that would be item number 1. We need high quality, preferably high quality coffee. Here we're using Cafe Golani of our making that we love very, very much. We will need a stove.
Okay. All right, Yosef.
Thank you.
So this is like a regular small camping
It's a camping stove, a very regular camping stove. And we're going to need water and a spoon. We have long spoons that we like very much for cooking coffee, but a regular spoon.
Golani spoons.
A branded spoon. And from here, we're good to go.
Okay, great. Okay, so now take me through the steps of making the coffee. What is the first thing that we have to do?
Okay, so step number 1 would be filling up water in the finjan. And the right height would be approximately this high. And we'll see in a moment what we need the rest of the place in the pot for. Yosef, do you want to fill up the water? That's great. We have water about this high here. The next stage would be lighting our stove.
I see the water is at rapid bubble now. Rapid boil, I guess, is what we call it.
Yeah, so once we get the water thoroughly boiling, we want to have a low fire as possible. We'll see in a moment why.
Okay.
We can take our coffee.
All right.
Open a fresh new bag if you don't have an open one. So we take our fresh bag of Golani coffee. How about that?
Oh, wow. It smells so good.
Yeah. So this is about as good as it gets. Now, when we were boiling the water up, we had sort of a large fire. But now we basically want to get it to the lowest fire we can. We don't need a lot of heat now.
Okay.
A slight boil inside, and Yosef, you can start adding the coffee.
Yep.
Okay, so after we put the coffee powder in, we need to make sure as we see it going up, we want to make sure it doesn't overflow, we don't spill it out. Nothing will happen if it does, but we want to keep things clean, and that's why we let it go down in height and we put it back on so we can warm up again. And after I do this about 2, 3, 4 times, we're going to see the bubbles on top getting bigger and bigger, and finally the coffee is going to sort of get cooked. So maybe this time, maybe next time. I could also use a spoon to mix it. I could mix the coffee with a spoon, but this is more ceremonial. A pro tip would be to sort of scrape the residual coffee from the side of the kettle. Otherwise, when you pour the coffee, so that if you get this coffee that is a little drier and less cooked, and you can give the coffee another moment of brewing. I like mixing it a bit because we have a real fire on the bottom, so sort of if too much coffee sinks, which shouldn't happen at the moment, but if you give it a long cook, then it can burn. After 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, depends on how much coffee you put in, whether you sort of dumped it in or maybe you sprinkled it around, then it'll sort of be easier to sink, to rise, and to fall to the bottom of the pot. The coffee is going to fall to the bottom of the pot. Once we turn it off, it's still sort of cooking and mixing. And that would be the last final stage. We turn the fire off, and now we need a few moments of patience. So this is unfiltered coffee. We have both the water and the coffee powder and the sort of what we're going to drink all in the same pot right here. And the coffee needs to sink to the bottom. That takes a few moments. In any case, the coffee is too hot to drink in the moment. 5-10 minutes, okay. The coffee will be ready. You can pour it into cups, even though I would say maybe wait 2-3 minutes or moments, depending on how much time you have, and pour the coffee after that, and then also give it a moment to sink. But that is basically how a professional makes black coffee.
So now we're just waiting for a minute, and then we're going to drink our coffee.
Yeah, the thing is that if you did this kind of coffee more than a few times, you will have a different opinion about how to do it. Each one have his opinion, his pro opinion, but Golani have the
so
they are the pro of making Golani coffee.
For sure. Golanis are the pros, the source, the everything for Golani coffee. But, as you were doing this, I wondered, like, if you were a person who doesn't have a camping stove, doesn't have fire, can you still, is there a way that you could still have Golani coffee?
So that's a great question. And basically, when you're preparing black coffee to drink, you've got 2 options that sort of basically your maneuvering space. So one way, which I do when I'm out in nature, when I have time and I'm enjoying myself, I cook coffee like this. I do it in the army when we're sitting together around the campfire. On the other hand, when I have a busy morning at home and I've got children running around and everything's happening, I don't have time to cook the coffee like this, in which case I warm up water in an electrical kettle. I put 1 large spoon into a cup, maybe a cup like this, not a very large spoon. And then I pour boiling water on the coffee. I mix it up with a spoon, sort of until I get a similar effect to what we saw here in the kettle. So if I break up all of the congestion of the coffee powder on top, I let it mix, and then you can see it actually, like we'll see in a moment, sinking to the bottom.
Okay.
And when the coffee is relaxed and is calm and they have no floating pieces of turmeric or moringa or coffee at the bottom, at the top, they're all at the bottom, that's when we're ready to go.
While we're waiting for our coffee to be ready, and the smell is making me crazy, it smells so good, I wonder if you could just share with me, why is Golani coffee such a special coffee? Of course, because it's Golani coffee and it's to remember Omer, but there's something special in the blend, right?
So we use a very special blend. We use high quality black coffee, but we also mix into the coffee turmeric and moringa. Both of them are pretty mainstream in people understanding how good they are for our health and for maintaining our health and for preventative measures. Definitely turmeric has become very, very widely used. Recently, I think sort of drinking this coffee, which I think tastes really, really good. Today, for me, it can be disappointing to drink black coffee, even if I drink really good black coffee. But then I always have sort of the feeling that something's missing. I've grown very, very fond of drinking coffee with turmeric and with moringa. And also, I think sort of if you take something that's good for you and you do it continuously, sort of drinking coffee is something we do every day, maybe more than once a day, then over a certain period of time, you've built in your system and sort of in the amounts you consume and in sort of just having another healthy habit that serves you, I think you could really add to the quality of people's lives. And that's one of our main goals with the coffee, which we also love drinking like this, but sort of there's more to just enjoying the coffee here. It's a very special way for me to commemorate the memory of my good friend, brother, Omer, that I miss so much, that we all miss so much. And I think all of these together sort of produce Golani coffee. So the colors are brown, like the Golani Brigade beret, the beret. Yellow and green, turmeric and moringa, are the colors of the brigade flag. So those are the brigade colors. And together, these sort of blend to create Golani coffee in memory of our good friend, Omar Galdo.
So I think that the time that we start to drink the coffee, every time when you go to the army, you drink coffee, but coffee with curcum and moringa, it's something that you cannot find very usually in any place. And it start with a curcum when we was in Gaza, and it became famous, and everybody, wow, it's yellow. Why it's yellow? But it was more than drinkable. It was tasty. And then we add for it the moringa, and it became something that we can take out like a Golani coffee. And Noam called me and tell me, look, do you want to make it the Golani coffee? I tell him, yeah, sure. This is the right place, the right thing to do. And for us, and somehow for also the family, it's kind of something that we are doing and feel to the people that was very close to Omer very good to do. Like now I'm telling you, look, it's my therapy. Mm-hmm. The family, we was doing a mishloach manot for Purim for all the friends and family, and it was around Golani coffee, and Omer's father's Omer told to Noam, look, we forget about the grief when we was doing that, so it's something that became it's bigger than coffee. It's bigger than drinking something or making some product that is good and healthy product. But we have also this, the present of Omer when we do it, and somehow in a good way, that we are doing something good that it's healthier than any other coffee. It's tasty, and everybody can enjoy it. And it's feel great to be part of it.
I also, I think it's so cool that drinking this coffee connects any of us who love our soldiers, and it feels like a very nice way of feeling connected to you and what you're doing to protect us. And that now that anybody in the world can do this, it's very special.
We create this coffee within our company, sort of anyone who has anything to do with the coffee. Me, Yosef, we're brother in arms. Our good friend Chagai that drew the picture on the drawing on the coffee, he drew it in the village Omer was killed in South Lebanon. He has lots of these beautiful sort of wartime drawings that he draws. The graphics and the design are all made from by a soldier in our company, and I think sort of this is a very strong proof of the great variety of sort of people, professions that we have in our company, because we're not professional soldiers. We're all basically citizens all the time, most of the time. We have our jobs, we have our careers.
Yeah, I used to work full-time with Yosef, but he's been gone a lot.
Yes, so
serving the country.
that's a funny reality for our families, for our employers, for our employees. And there's lots of skill and lots of sort of life knowledge and a lot of, I mean, we're slightly older and maybe we're not as fit as a 20-year-old, but I think we have a lot to give and to do, and there's a good reason we're called again and again, because we provide the country with sort of this strength and safety and something to rely on. And this is just an example of how special and powerful the Israeli Reserve Army is.
Yeah. You guys are amazing. Seriously, amazing. And the whole Lev Haolam community, we all love you so much, really, and just appreciate so much what you're doing. I always feel safe because of you, you know? Like, seriously, it gives me such a good feeling whenever I see our soldiers out and about. I just want to hug everybody. And it's beautiful. It's really something.
It is.
I mean that very sincerely. Yosef knows that.
Yeah, it is.
He knows that's how I feel, yeah.
You know,
Unbelievable army.
We put a lot to do it. We put actually, Omer gives his life for this. We put our lives, our kids, our kids' well-being,
Yeah.
our job, and sometimes health, mental health, and all kind of things that we put inside the protection of Israel. We put
every aspect of our lives are impacted thoroughly, and we, at least I do, I know all of my friends do as well, walk around with a bigger sense of mission than just someone waking every morning, going to his job, putting his children in kindergarten. We always have something that's larger than us that we're a part of, and that's a true sort of mission, but a necessity as well. Israel would not be here without so many amazing soldiers that are willing at the moment's call to leave everything and come and serve for as long as needed, risking their lives and their health and the well-being of their family and their employers and their careers. And this is, I think, part of the Israeli sort of superpower that keeps us strong and will keep us going forward for a long time. Are we ready to pour the coffee?
You're so ready. I was just thinking that even when you're not defending us, you're teaching us.
Let's drink it.
We're ready to drink. I like it.
L'chaim, guys.
L'chaim, you guys. Yes. Wow. It's really good.
That's really good, isn't it?
It is. And you know what? This is the moment. You're drinking this like amazing coffee from the fire. We're sitting in the trees in our homeland. You know, this is our place. So I wonder, as we enjoy the coffee and think about Omer, do you have any special memories of him that you would want to share with us?
So I can say that Omer had cancer and fought it and won, and he was on remission. But even though he was with us in our company fighting side by side with us for a few years, after having cancer, he was sort of let go. He was released. It's standard procedure. But Omer insisted to come back and serve and volunteer. And even though in sort of a wider sense, we're all volunteering and no one can force us to come, and everyone still comes. But after having cancer and sort of being provided with sort of the statement, you're finished, Omer insisted of coming back and fighting with us, which I think is a very special thing, sort of, and we can all think about it, sort of how much conviction he must have had to say, well, I've been let off the hook and it's not an easy lifestyle to be running. And he spent quite a few years serving, and he could have said, well, I've done my share and my part and thank you everyone, but he said the exact opposite. He insisted on coming back and fighting and doing just as much as anyone else, if not more. I think that's sort of one key, maybe not a memory, but sort of very important anecdote that tells us a lot about the personality of the good friend we lost. We lost a very talented, gifted friend, architect. He had so many talents. He was amazing indoors and outdoors and in nature, and sort of with physical adversity and with any kind of adversity we meet, and we met a lot of it. He was always so strong, and I have so many memories of him. Even the night before he died, it was raining and everything was muddy and we were stuck in this rain for a while, and he had such a big smile, and he was walking around with his sort of long feet easily and maneuvering around sort of all the mud and everything, and he had this light walk and this light smile, and that I think is very representative of his ability to handle challenge and sort of to handle it very, very well.
He sounds really just like such an amazing, remarkable person.
Yeah. You know,
I have to say on behalf of, just the Lev Haolam community, very sorry for your loss. And I am so encouraged, I guess is the word, or nourished somehow in my soul that you have found a way that is meaningful, and it's real, and it's part of who you are, it's part of who he was, and you're able to remember him. And I hope that those memories comfort you always. And to our Lev Haolam community, that you can be part of this also, that you can show your love for the Golani soldiers, for the Israeli soldiers, and you can remember this very, very special person, Omer. You guys, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.